So much.
Thank you.
So our next speaker is Mr. Yasir Zada to explain the audience how the COVID-19 pandemic changes business and commerce education.
Ji, thank you. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. All praise is due to Allah who have taught men how to read and write and make the best decisions in case of need whenever there are different problems. So we have observed a global pandemic in the last year, COVID-19, due to which a lot of institutional structures were observed to be having a lot of structural changes. So multiple institutional structures have adopted different strategies in order to cope up with the problem and provide an productive approach and an effective outcome. So similarly, Hajveri University has also adopted certain strategies and integrated multiple media sources in order to provide the most efficient lecture, the most efficient education knowledge to the students and the community. So I would begin my presentation and show some examples of how Hajveri University has adopted multiple different techniques in order to educate the students in the most effective. So the topic is the impact of COVID-19 over learning for business and commerce and the changes in teaching strategies when you were having physical classrooms, you were having whiteboard, you were having a lot of students in front of you. You can see each and every face of the student and you can observe the reaction of the students. The learning process was quite stable. But due to this, online teaching, there were a lot of instabilities in the beginning of the lockdown, but Alhamdulillah, we all have adopted a lot of different strategies. And by the blessings of Allah, we have gained a lot of good output. So the basics of the principles for e-learning, we have to make sure that these principles are part of e-learning. Each and every instructor should be following these principles. The first and most important principle is that there is a very good student-teacher relationship. Whenever we are teaching in our physical classes, we know that what is the reaction, what is the behavior of our students. We have a good relationship. But in order to develop a relationship online, we have to communicate with them by the modes of telecommunication. We might use WhatsApp, we might use phone calls, we might use online meetings. So the more we communicate with the students in a formal and both conservative way, in an informal manner also, we are able to develop a good relationship. By developing a good relationship, you are able to adopt readability and accessibility. The students are able to understand you in a more dynamic manner. So using a conversational style voice, you can adopt, you can speak in English, you can speak in Urdu, you can talk with them in a friendly way so that they are more able to understand you. Use of technology is very important. In order to use the technology, it is very important to know about technology. What is the available technology and how to use that? If you are not able to use the technology, you can learn, you can seek help. We as instructors in the community are always there, and we should be able to help each other. Efficient and stable network is very important when you are teaching. You should make sure that your internet is stable and the deliverance is quite smooth. Your deliverance should be conceptual. You should not adopt the formal modes, just bragging down the theoretical explanations and providing them the definitions. It should be conceptual. The deliverance should be conceptual. And frequent signaling. Frequent signaling means you are providing the information to the students on frequent basis. It is not necessarily that you are communicating with the students during the university hours. You can communicate with them at night time. You can communicate with them at the evening. So a frequent signaling is very important, and these are the basic principles for e-learning. If you have adopted these principles in no matter whatever you have adopted the strategy for your e-learning process, these principles should be there to make it more effective and efficient. These are some tools We all have a laptop, we all have a mobile phone with us, we have a smart screen with us. Useful tools for e-learning, you should make the best use of the resources you have to be efficient. It doesn't matter you are going to use one laptop PC. If you have a smartphone, you can integrate both your laptop and your smartphone to provide the most efficient way. I'm using my mobile phone and my laptop. My mobile phone has a good camera. My mobile phone is having a good, microphone. My voice pitch can be much more clear. If I use my laptop, I can't use that high quality pitch. So I adopted both my mobile phone and my laptop in order to provide a good lecture. So it's good that you use all the available resources in the optimum quantity. And so PC provides its own functions. You can control a lot of things, you can manage a lot of things, you can create a lot of things, and you can visualize the presentations in a different manner. Smartphone provides different functions. So integrating these available resources will provide you an efficient way to provide a good lecture. So the applications that are available online are Google Classroom that we have adopted, Zoom that we are adopting worldwide, and it is quite efficient. WhatsApp is a way to communicate with the students in an informal manner. You can create groups and make a frequent signaling with them. So this is a model that I have created. This model is what I have adopted. This strategy is what I have adopted in my teaching online. I'm using Zoom as multiple accounts. I have created multiple accounts from Zoom, and I get online with my laptop and my smartphone, and then I integrate according to the need of the hour. If I want to use the whiteboard, I usually use my smartphone because my smartphone provides the facility to use the whiteboard. It has a stylus pen, so I can use a whiteboard using my mobile phone, and I can integrate with my laptop in order to record my lecture and broadcast it live on YouTube. So these are the two multiple functions that provide me very good facilities in order to use a whiteboard and in order to record and upload my lecture on YouTube, so that the students can, if someone has missed the lecture, he can review that lecture in any time. And the most important thing is that whenever you're going to start a new semester, you have created a variety of recorded lectures that can be quite handy in your coming semesters. Talking about the Google Classrooms, the Hajveri University has provided us with a benchmark what you have to post on Google Classrooms. There is course descriptions, lecture contents, live lecture videos, assignments, quizzes, Viva voce. I have conducted Viva in my last semester for 100 students, providing them at least 10 minutes to each student. So that was a very good activity. I have considered that a very good activity. Viva was something which developed a very good relationship, and I got to know that whatever I was teaching in my whole semester, Viva told me that that particular student has listened you in a very good way, and he has, learned from you something. So Viva is a very good thing. Midterm examination, final examinations. I would like to share my screen for the Google Classroom, what I have uploaded. In order to produce the effective Google Classroom environment, you need to arrange a good segmentation of the topics. I have placed each and every lecture, both the PDF version and the PPT version. Some students are not able to use the PPT on their mobile phones. So I have uploaded the PDF version also. You should upload them and provide the ease to the students. So your lectures are according to the date. There are around 24 lectures for microeconomics, and the other segment is live lecture videos. For each and every lecture, you have to place the link, because my live lecture videos were broadcasted live on YouTube. So just open this link and you are able to review that whole live lecture. It can be of 50 minutes, it can be of 1 hour, it can be of 30 minutes. The whole live lecture, the student can review it and whatever he wants to learn from that particular part of the live lecture, he can utilize that. Moreover, the course descriptions, Sir Kamran Said has already explained that in a very beautiful manner. Those are effective ways. You need to place the books. Talking about the quiz, I created a quiz. All right, this was my midterm. You can create a midterm exam. You can create a quiz using the Google form. A Google form provides an excellent approach. You can use the MCQs version, place the total points, how many students have been attempted. Your responses of the students are going to be recorded. So this use of technology is very good in order to evaluate the students. You can create midterms, you can create quizzes, you can create final examinations, you can place graphs. If you have an economics subject, if you have a business subject, you can place the models on this Google Classroom, on this Google form. So whenever you're going to evaluate the students, the examination is to be conducted within a given time frame. The students are going to respond in that particular time frame. Moreover, I've created this midterm examination for macroeconomics, and I have placed a subjective question also in this objective part. This subjective question is in a PDF version. The students have to write the examination, their answers on a piece of paper, and they have to upload that particular piece of paper in form of PDF and submit it on the Google Classroom within the given time period. And you can later on evaluate. So conduct of examinations includes the formulation of the schedule and syllabus. This was the schedule that I have created for my microeconomics. It includes the time, the instructions, important instructions that you have to on your videos before the start of the examination, and you have to on your videos after the examination has been conducted. Syllabus is very important when you are sharing online. Your syllabus for each and every of your examination should be summarized in a brief way that includes chapters from whatever you have been utilizing the resources, and in a detailed way. So a detailed syllabus is very important. Whenever you're going to, create a syllabus for the students teaching online, they should be detailed. The topic should be mentioned in bullet points. The links of the lecture content, the lecture videos that you have created for them, you should place the links whenever the student has to go to that particular topic. You should just click this link and the video or the content will be present to him. And at the end of the syllabus, the instructions should be clear for each and every student so that he can implement on those instructions in the most effective. Moving ahead, whenever you have performed the class exam, it's a very good activity to share the quiz reports with them. So this was an exam report, the students who have attempted the quiz. This was the report in pie charts using the graphs so that the students in the whole class are able to understand the correct answers they have selected on average. This was the question, and around 38 students selected B option and the incorrect options. So these are certain activities the students are going to learn for the future. Moving on. I was talking about the Viva-Voce. I created 100 students. I created a Viva for 100 students and providing 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes to each and every student. I created this schedule to conduct the Viva-Voce. The Viva was conducted online on Zoom individually, and the students have to be punctual on their timings, and they have to be online on the Zoom to conduct the Viva, give the Viva, and they were evaluated. So moving on to the most important part of my presentation, recording the live lectures and using a whiteboard. So I had a whiteboard in my mobile phone. I would like to show it. So this is the whiteboard. Suppose you have to teach a certain topic, that is the business cycle. So in economics, we have a lot of graphs to teach. We have this output. We have the GDP per capita. So business cycle says that during the fiscal years, we have an expansion time period and a recession time period. You can use this whiteboard in order to explain the situation. Whenever there is an rising upward trend of the slope, that particular area is called expansion. This is just a demo lesson. We have a recession. We have a peak point. And we have a trough. So this was the theory of business cycle, just for a demo lesson. You can utilize this whiteboard facility on your Zoom. Zoom provides the whiteboard facility. Moreover, you can also share your screen on your mobile phone. I created these notes for the students. I was teaching them online. You can share the graphs, the notes with them in a very good way. So this was the graph. And using that same particular whiteboard strategy, you are able to explain the students the movement of the graphs, create good notes. And share the PDF of whatever you have taught to them using the WhatsApp, and just share with them whatever you have taught to them. So moving on. This was a facility provided by the whiteboard, and the most important thing that I was telling you in the beginning of my lecture is integrating the multiple media sources. I used this online broadcasting system. This is an application, online broadcasting system. You can broadcast, start streaming your live lecture. You can record your live lecture using this OBS, online broadcasting system. I recorded my live lectures. I would like to share one of my live lecture. So I had this, I just, arranged the windows on my laptop screen, and I placed a book on my left-hand side. I used the whiteboard in the middle. I have a video on. The students are present in the right side, the top right corner of the screen. How many students, how many participants are there? The lecture is being recorded and being uploaded on the YouTube. And the best thing is that the students are able to chat whatever they're giving the messages, giving the ideas, they are providing the feedback. That whole chat is being recorded on the bottom right side of the screen. So arranging and integrating multiple media sources will allow you to produce an effective way how you can deliver the lecture. So this is available on my YouTube channel. I have recorded all my lectures on YouTube channel. They are live lectures. Whatever the discussion that has been made with the students, whatever the discussion has been made during the class is present on this lecture, and the students can access them anytime. This is another example I have created for I just turned off my video in this particular live lecture, and I was teaching them the principles of perfectly competitive market, in which there are different cases, case number 1, case number 2, case number 3. The book is on the left hand side. The students were able to read the book on the left hand side, and the students were able to learn from the whiteboard in using visualizing the multiple graphs that I was delivering to them. So this was a lecture for perfectly competitive market, for the case of loss, for the case of profit, for the case of shutdown point, how the firms are able to achieve in the best, how the firms are able to work in a perfectly competitive market. So these are the integrated multiple media sources which I have created for the students. Last thing is that conduct of assignments. I have told you, you can provide the students to create the assignments and upload them in the PDF. I have conveyed about how you can utilize the Vivavo's. Conduct of class survey. I did this survey in before the class and after the final examination. This was an online class survey. I asked 90 respondents, 90 students, that what are the basic problems, what are the basic issues you were facing online. So far attendance of online class estimate, the students have answered: are you able to hear the voice clearly during the online lecture? Are you able to visualize the content easily? Around 58 students said yes, 18% students said no, 23 students responded that sometimes. Have you watched online recordings over YouTube channel? Very few have said always, few have said, some of them have said sometimes. Are you able to understand the graphs, their concepts easily? Have you studied the contents from the book? So this was my activity which I used to conduct frequently during my class lectures. Which sort of internet issues were the most you faced? The students have placed their remarks. They have performed very good. They provided a very good feedback, which allowed me to improve my delivery of the lectures throughout my semester. Maintaining attendance, you can use the Google's form in order to maintain the attendance. So I hope my presentation is quite effective. I tried that. The students of the Hajveri University are not having any problem in learning due to the online system. So being an instructor, it is a duty to help each other. And I would wind up my lecture from this point. Back to you, Rabia.
Thank you so much, Yasir. These are the techniques I would really appreciate your efforts and your hard work. Thank you so much. So our next speaker is Waqas Ahmad Bhatt, student of Hajveri University. Mr. Waqas, are you listening?
I can hear you.
Okay, I have to ask you questions from you. Like, you are a student. What are the Firstly, you have to tell me about yourself, and what have you studied at HU, and why did you choose HU? Second, what challenges and achievements you have experienced during the COVID-19 pandemic, during these online classes and everything, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
I was a student of PharmD from Hajveri University. I did PharmD from Hajveri University very firstly. Then I came back into the university for MBA executive degree as well. और अगर जहाँ तक बात की जाए, अगर very firstly I would like to make it clear that we are not living in a normal life. This is a new normal, and people now are learning that how to live in a new normal. तो जिस तरह कोविड ने बाकी जो हमारी जिंदगी के जो मामला उनको डिस्टर्ब किया, सेम उन्होंने हमारी जो नॉर्मल स्टडी के जो लेवल्स है उसको भी डिस्टर्ब किया। और यही वजह है कि हम दोबारा इसमें ई लर्निंग की तरफ आ रहे हैं। क्योंकि मैं अपनी यूनिवर्सिटी का अपनी क्लास का सीआ था, तो एडमिन और टीचर्स की तरफ से जो इंस्ट्रक्शन थी वो मुझे ही आगे फॉरवर्ड करनी पड़ती थी अपने स्टूडेंट्स को। तो बहुत सी कम्युनिकेशन गैप्स भी थे। इवन आई स्टिल रिमेंबर कि मैंने जब जूम की बात की थी तो दैट स्टूडेंट्स बहुत से ऐसे थे जो आगे से मुझे ये क्वेश्चन कह रहे थे किस चीज़ को जूम करना है, मतलब जो एक टेक्नोलॉजीज है एज फार एज being concerned right now, वो टेक्नोलॉजीज और गैजेट्स से बहुत दूर थे। लेकिन जहाँ पे एक प्रॉब्लम्स क्रिएट की कोविड ने, वहाँ पे एक अपॉर्चुनिटी भी क्रिएट की कोविड ने, और वो ये थी कि अब पाकिस्तान और टेक्नोलॉजी से बहुत ज़्यादा अवेयर हो चुके हैं। और तो ये एक अचीवमेंट भी थी। और अगर मैं बात करूँ कि किस तरह इसने इफेक्ट किया है, मतलब एक टू सिट ऑन अ सीट फॉर अ लॉन्ग पीरियड ऑफ टाइम ऑन अ स्क्रीन, और आपके पास साथ स्टूडेंट्स भी नहीं है, और उसको फोकस करना और टीचर्स को उनको देखना और स्टूडेंट सीखना, दैट वाज क्वाइट डिफिकल्ट इन अ बिगिनिंग फेज। लेकिन अब स्टूडेंट्स इस चीज़ को सीख रहे। जी बुशरा।
Thank you so much, Waqas. Are you listening?
Yes, I was listening, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you so much. Right. It was an immense pleasure talking with Mr. Kamran Said, Yasir Zada, and Waqas Ahmed, who is a student of Pajwari University. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts, your experiences, and your techniques of teaching, especially Yasir Zada and Mr. Kamran.